If the Premier is ready for action, I've got a project. My question is for the Premier. Yesterday, he told this House that he wasn't aware that any hungry children would have to ask for food from teachers in order to receive it in school. The Premier and his government continue to maintain that every child who needs food in school receives it. If the Premier doesn't think that hungry kids are asking for food in schools, how does he think they're being fed?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Look, poverty, child poverty, these things are issues that nobody can accept. We're deeply concerned about the issues that are facing families and certainly children in this province. Yesterday, the member said that children have to raise their hand and ask in front of their class for help. I know a lot of teachers, Madam Speaker, and I don't know a single one that would put a child through that. I know lots of teachers that take food to school to give to children, to take things, school supplies. I know our teachers are stepping up in every single way to support those kids in front of them. I don't know a single teacher that would say to a student in front of an entire class, can you please raise your hand if you need support? That's not true. I don't accept that. I do accept that there's a lot of work to do in this province.
I recognize the Leader of NDP.
A Nova Scotia health report from last fall found that in some schools, students have to approach a teacher or administrator for free meals, and this approach risks, quote, singling students out, unquote. I've tabled that report. Also last fall, an executive director from the Department of Education told a government committee that a child would receive food if they, quote, come to school and present themselves as not having food or being hungry. And I'll table that. And I'll ask the Premier again, does he think it's acceptable that a student is required to present themselves as being hungry?
The Honourable Premier.
Madam Speaker, I don't accept that it's acceptable that there are hungry children in this province, but there are. You know, we'll work hard to alleviate that. I think what the member is missing is that in classroom situations, in many situations around this province, teachers actually talk to students. Students approach teachers quietly, and I know teachers approach students quietly. It goes both ways, and there is absolutely no question in my mind that a student may approach a teacher quietly and say, you know, teacher, I'm hungry. And I absolutely know that goes the other way, that teachers say, you know, can we have a little chat? Or is there no question that happens in our society. But I am not accepting of the fact that any teacher in our province, I'd like to know who they are if it's happening, there's no way it's happening, says in front of an entire class, raise your hand and present to the class that you want food. Let's talk about the real issue and stop with the theatrics on this issue.
The Honourable Leader of NDP.
I have a better idea than demonizing teachers. Why don't we have food in schools for all children who need it? Madam Speaker, Nova Scotians are confused by this government's response to this issue. My messages, my email inbox, my phone is filled with messages from parents and teachers who know that not every child who needs food in school receives it. They don't believe it. According to the Executive Director of Nourish Nova Scotia, the provincial partner for school-based healthy eating programs, we're not always reaching the students who are in greatest need of access to food. That is clear, and so I will ask the Premier again, does he stand by the minister's statement that every child who needs food in school receives it?
The Honourable Premier.
First off, Madam Speaker, I actually think that to suggest to this House and to Nova Scotians that there are teachers in this province that would request a student to raise their hand in front of an entire class, that's actually demonizing teachers. I would never say that to the House. I support teachers.
Order. The Honourable Premier.
Yesterday, the member made a statement, and we can get the Hansard and get the exact words, but the gist of it was, and the theme has continued today, that students are expected to raise their hand, I believe was the phrase I heard yesterday, and suggest that they need food. I don't accept that that happens in this province. And I believe that anyone who actually uses that language is demonizing teachers, because teachers are far more compassionate to do that to a student. There is an issue with child poverty in this province. There is an issue with family poverty in this province, and we are working hard. And I'm happy to talk about the real issues and the real solutions if we can just get past the sound bites and kickouts that the member opposite looks for.